Now let's see how to make an analytical video beyond the simple excerpt. So I put markers upstream on my clips in the index. I put tags when I locate the different element I want to show you. In this excerpt, there is
A gaze,
a gesture of pointing and a manipulation of the phone. At first, let's contextualize our excerpt. So let's go on the title types on the top of the event navigator. So there is a lot of template. There is a lot of title, and at the end you have some themes. So I will choose a quite neutral one. So for example, this one, the blue one. So I can put it in my timeline and then change titles. For example, here in the inspector, I change video-based research. And I can change also the subtitle. So here I will note Ulu workshop and delete the third title, information. So now I can see that there is a problem in the alignment, so I can change and place my title where I want. So just select the title and move on the screen. There is an opening effect at the end of my title clip, so I can put it on the top of one of my clip to see the clip on my lower layer. So now my title is done, and I want to present the situation by looking at my two clips. So in fact, I'm going to do my video analysis using the video editing tools. First thing, I go and cut out my clip because the unit is the clip in Final Cut Pro. So let's go on editing tools and choose the blade. And cut your two clips just before the first element you want to focus on. So here is my screen recording and my external view. Select my first clip and go to this transform tool. So I choose transform and I will reduce my screen recording and do the same thing for my view 1. So select my view 1 and reduce the external view. So I have presented my situation, so two views synchronized with one external view and one screen recording. I explain it with the title. For example, I can add text. So let's go on the title selection and choose, for example, a personalized one. And so you will customize all the setting of your title. So I place my title on the timeline, and now I can
move it,
change the title in the inspector. Now let's duplicate the title by pressing Option key of your keyboard and drag on the top your title. So now you have duplicated, and move it and change the title in the inspector. If you don't want a black background, you can go on the title tabs and then choose a generator. So you can add it on the lower layer of your timeline to add a colored background. Now you can change the colors and the different settings of your generator in the timeline. So for example, you can choose customized color with the pipette, for example. So I choose the same color of my Prezi video title, and then I can see the background is now blue-green. So now I have a title and of the situation, the contextualization, and I want to focus on the gaze. So I have several ways to focus on an element. The first one is to add a shape on the element I want to focus on. So let's go on the generator tab and choose the generator called shape. Then put it on the timeline on the top of the element you want to focus on, and you see that in the inspector you have several settings you can customize. So first unclick the fill color, and then you can change the color of your circle. So for example, here in red I will choose blue in the color windows. You can customize the outline width. You can change the shape in a square, for example. So let's choose the square shape. So you can change the corner, for example, round or square corners. Change the center of the shape, for example, to move on the screen. And then you can also, if you want to reduce it, you can go on the transform tools and then transform your shape. So the shape now focus on the gaze. So now if I want to show off screen where the gaze is directed on, I will duplicate. So in copy and paste my external view clip in the timeline. So just copy and paste after the clip. We'll do the same way. So let's go and add a shape generator up to my clip. Customize your settings. So unclick the color fill and choose the color blue for the circle outline. And you can move your shape in the inspector. You can also move it in the viewer, and now you can reduce it with the transform tool to put it on the element you want to focus on. I can add a second shape on my clip, for example an arrow to show the direction of the gaze, to see the gaze is oriented to the cat. So let's choose arrow in the inspector. So unclick the outline width with the transform tool. You can move your arrow, reduce it, and change the orientation. To fit in a better way your shape, you can change the appearance of your viewer window, and then you can change the customized setting of your shape. Another way to focus on the gaze, for example, in the same excerpt, you can crop only around the gaze. So select your clip and go to crop function, then the crop tab, and now just focus on the gaze. Click on done, and you see that the clip has been reframed. For the external view, I will choose to the crop function, but another tab called Can Burn. So you have two frames. The first one is for the beginning of your clip, and the red one is for the end. So during the clip, go from the green framing to the red framing. So for example, here I want to zoom on the cat. So let's click on done, and you see that the framing is zooming on the cat. If I want to show the direction of the gaze. Let's go and with the green framing, go on the gaze, and with the red one, go to the element the gaze is focused on. Another way to focus on is to use the speed of your clip to show a pointing gesture, for example. So let's select only the external view clip and cut where I have put my markers on to isolate my gesture. Now let's choose the position tools of editing tools to remove the rest of my clip. So now I have just my pointing gesture. I select it in the timeline to be surrounded in yellow, and I go in the speed tool and then slow down at 25%. So you can see that my clip is now longer and in a slow down gesture. To focus on my pointing gesture, I can also do it in another way. So let's copy and paste my gesture and go back on a normal speed of my excerpt. So I can just select it and paste and copy several times my gesture to have a repetition of my gesture, and so mute the soundtrack to focus on my pointing gesture only. So let's see another way to focus on the gesture. So first copy the pointing gesture clip, and then press Option key of your keyboard to duplicate the clip. So you have to put it on the top of the timeline. Now let's go on the crop tools. So the clip in the layer on the top layer is selected, and then choose the crop function and reframe on the end. On the end to focus to zoom in the pointing gesture, and then click on Done. Now go on the Transform tool to change the appearance of the pointing gesture. So go to see the blue dots and then reduce the window and move it in the left top of your screen. Now you can select the other clip, and you can also reduce it in the tool transformation, and then you can adapt the appearance of your final movie. So you have the general situation and a focus on the pointing gesture, so they are synchronized, and I see the close-up of the pointing gesture. Now I have also two point of view of my situation, so I can cut several excerpts to pass from the view 1 to the view 2 in validate and invalidate the screen recording view. So the fact of having several views, you can switch from one view to another, and you can also make a split screen to show both view in the same screen. So use the transformation tool. For example, for the screen recording, I can choose to crop and to transform my clip. And for my external view, just move it on the right of my screen. So now I have both of my views in the same clip. So with synchronized view, you can switch from one to another, or you can have a split screen of both of your views. Now let's see another excerpt. So I will choose the P key to choose the position tool to remove my clip, to isolate it. So now you can see the marker I have put down to mark my other gesture. So now let's see in my effect window, and let's choose a mask. So you can choose the shape mask and put it on your clip. So here we want to focus on the phone, the gesture of taking the phone. So you can go on the inspector to customize all the setting of the shape mask effect. So you can play on the position on the amount of the effect. As usual, you can customize all the settings of the effect in the inspector window. In this clip, I can add a little text, a comment, to explain the gesture, for example. So let's go on the title tab and select a title, for example this one in lower third, and put it in the timeline. So as usual, you can change all the settings, customize all the settings of your title. So you can see there is a new tab with a T. So here we can change the background color, for example. So here in blue, you can change the title. So I will write Justine takes her phones, and I will delete the other line, and you can change the color of your font. So let's select all your line and change the font, for example, and in the face tab of the inspector, you can change the color of your font. Change the alignment, and now we have done. So we have finished our little clip with several focused on gesture, and let's see the result. How to make my first data collection. So I have 3
devices,
for recording, for recording, for recording, for recording. Record me in front of my computer. Then we have the Prezi Video software. I record my presentation, and my iPhone for the sound. So now you have all the tools to create your own video. Be creative and have fun!